Hi guys and ladies, Ramsey here. Welcome to another video. Today, we have a very special video, which I always say. And I also always say that. But this time, we have a double unboxing. One I purchased and one was kindly sent by someone in the fragrance family. And, I want to touch on that word a little bit, family, because this is something that is obviously very important to me, what I do. And I consider this now, I'm a very routine person. So I'm in this routine where every day, and I won't be able to continue doing it every day, unfortunately, when I go back to the office next month. But for the past 2 years since COVID, I've been working from home. And I'll tell you a little bit about me, more about me than what I've divulged on my channel previously. Because I do feel like there is a little bit of not just a little bit, a lot of a connection with the person that you're watching. I mean, I remember watching people, I used to watch YouTube videos years ago, and I never commented. I didn't even have a YouTube account because just so you guys know, I don't have Facebook, I don't have Instagram, I don't have Twitter. I don't do any of that stuff. And you know what? I don't feel like I'm missing out. I'm happy with where I'm at. So for me, this is a bit of a technological leap. Say what you want. I may look young, but I'm an old soul. And, this is something that I started to do at the request of some friends. Some very good friends. Some of the people that I've met in this community are some amazing people, top-notch people. I've said this before, but just like I like vintage fragrances, some of the people remind me of vintage people. And I mean that not saying they're old, but saying that they, in the old days, I think about people sleeping with their windows and doors unlocked. And I think about, knowing your neighbor and, treating them as a human being instead of just somebody, instead of just another person out there. They were a real person to you. And Chris from Scentland did a video maybe a month ago now where he really talked about how we're being dehumanized in the sense that if you saw another person laying in the street, you would just step right over them and go about your day and not help them because it was too inconvenient for you to stop and actually help, kind of thing. And I understand what he's saying. He may have taken that a little too far, but the gist of his point is well taken. In that, everything is sanitized. I talked about this in previous videos, so I don't want to go down that rabbit hole, but I do want to talk about a very important topic that I think was self-evident, or at least I assumed was self-evident when I made these videos. So first of all, I do my own thing, okay? So I stay in my lane. I like what I do. I don't let outside forces kind of dictate to me what I say and don't say. Sometimes that rubs people the wrong way. Sometimes it doesn't. I get comments all the time on my Facebook saying, "Where have you been? We've been looking for somebody like you to come out and say these kind of things." And I appreciate that. But as you start to get more and more recognition, you're going to get the other side of the argument as well. So first of all, let me talk about my background a little bit. I won't tell you the company I work for, but I will tell you that I have been in the financial industry for 15 years. Actually, 15 years in a month and a half, which is unbelievable to me. But most of my job involves helping people invest their money, right? And I've seen a lot with that. You see people who have made a lot of money, and you've seen people lose a lot of money. I've seen people die with fortunes, and I've seen it all. I've seen the parents be super conservative, and I've seen the kids squander it. I've seen everything. Everything and you constantly learn. The financial industry is ever changing. You see all kind of stuff. You always learn new stuff about it. So anytime I do a video like this, I never go in there with the impression, or I never want to give the impression that I'm some sort of authority, ever. For me, this is a hobby. It's a hobby that I love. Granted, love this. This is the best hobby I've ever had in my life. And I've had a lot of different hobbies. You know, I used to go shooting at the shooting range. I used to play sports occasionally. I still will try to run, and sometimes I'll work out, stuff like that. But this is my favorite hobby because it involves the knowledge of history, and it involves using your brain and understanding of fragrances of the past and your nose. Now, nose is subjective. Smell is subjective to some degree, a large degree. It's subjective. So I say all that to say I have my own house. I have my own car. I'm not in any debt. This is literally a hobby. I could take this money and I could go buy $10,000 golf clubs and, you know, shoes and all that stuff, and I could spend the day on the golf course, but I choose to do this with my money. Everyone has to make their own choice, and everyone has a journey. I'll give you an example. I bought this fragrance a couple years back, and I'm wearing it today as my scent of the day. This is Roja's Vetiver. This is a $500 fragrance, the Parfum. I would not buy this again, but I bought it, right? I don't blame anyone that I bought it. I don't blame the influencers that I bought this. I made the decision. I said yes. I pulled the trigger. I'm wearing it. I'm enjoying it, but I still have the wherewithal and I have the ability to stand on my own 2 feet and say, this is not worth $500. I'm sorry, it's not. Is it a good fragrance? Yes, it starts out kind of bittery. There's this lemongrass-like opening, and it's kind of like tart bitter, like you just, you know, had a very bitter fruit in your mouth. Like a bitter lemon kind of thing, and then it devolves into classic Chypre with Roja's, you know, labdanum and all that stuff. And it is a nice vetiver, but honestly, I get just as much joy and enjoyment out of wearing Encre Noire. Now, my channel is all about sharing my opinions, and that's what these are. These are my opinions. Sometimes I can be very opinionated. I'll give you an example. This is vintage M7, okay? This vintage M7 bottle today goes for, I don't know, $300-400 online. When this was discontinued, they couldn't give bottles away. It was 30 bucks. And they, you know, they couldn't give them away. Now, very few people, unless you are a shop, unless you're a fragrance shop, you are not going to buy this with the intention of holding it and watching it go up in value. You're not going to buy it for $30 when it gets discontinued and watch it go to $200, $300, $400 and try and sell it. That's not my thing anyways. That's probably not the thing of most of the people that watch this channel. They do it with the intention because they love the fragrance. Now, is it worth 4 or 5 times the price of this? Well, that's subjective. Price is very subjective. To me, yes, because this does something that the reformulated version doesn't do. This gives me this cola-like vibe in the opening, which I don't get as much from this. And so, to me, again, price is subjective. Yes, this is worth it. I want this bottle. I want this particular version. And my channel is about sharing those little tidbits with you guys. Now, if you go out there and you're in debt and you don't have enough money to pay your house note or your car note, and you spend $300 or $400 on this bottle, you need more help than I can give you on a channel dedicated to fragrance, okay? That's basic money management skills. And no one is going to twist your arm. You're a big boy or a big girl. If you are watching this video and you make a decision that you don't like down the road, right? Where'd my Roja Vetiver go? Do I wish I could take this purchase back? Absolutely. Do I wish I could take back my $500 purchase of Killian's Straight to Heaven Extreme because it had the little key that locks the box? Absolutely. Do I go online and complain that this person or that person made me buy it? No. This channel is going to be about my opinions. For example, this is Eau Sauvage Parfum. This is the black label version. The black label version means that This is the 2012 version. This is actually a 2016 bottle. This fragrance was reformulated in 2017. They replaced the myrrh with elemi, right? I like this version. That's why I have a 200 milliliter bottle. Some people prefer the 2017 version. If you watch my video that says I prefer this version and you go drop $500 on Eau Sauvage Parfum, where are you in life? What are your priorities? Can you afford the $500? Are you a collector like me where this betters your collection? You know, are you happy to have it? Or would you rather go spend half the price on the current version because it's just as good? This is all very subjective. And, you know, the thing about buying vintage fragrances is that there's a couple things that I realized very early in my journey. That's the reason why I do these comparison videos. Actually, if you go look at some of my previous comparisons, I did a comparison between these two fragrances because this channel is about my journey and my opinion on things. And I try to be as completely fair and honest as I can. I said that I enjoyed the current version, but these are two completely different fragrances. Now, hopefully, I was able to enlighten some people about that. I don't see very much content like that out on YouTube. Now, if you only had the modern version and you love it and spray it and wear it, there's nothing wrong with that. I am not telling you to drop everything you have and go run and buy this right now, because if you don't have it, you know, your fragrance journey is incomplete. No, it's different branches, different paths that we take to get through our journey. For me, I need the vintage of this. I need it. I have to have it because it adds something to my collection that this doesn't. It's an important piece of the fragrance history. These are two completely different fragrances, totally different. If you do a side-by-side comparison, you'll know what I mean. Go watch my comparison video of these two fragrances, and I give you the breakdown on it. You know, I had to have Patou Pour Homme. This is a $1,000 bottle of perfume right now. On eBay, if it's full, you'll pay $1,000 because there's Mysore sandalwood in there. There's real oak moss, all the stuff that we've talked about many a times on this channel. But I'm not telling you that if you don't have Patou Pour Homme, that you're a lesser or incomplete or anything like that. But I want to share my opinions and experience. Someone who's new to the vintage fragrance game, they might not even know about this. While someone who's been in it for decades might go, yeah, Patou Pour Homme, you know, I got it when it was 35 bucks in the 80s and I have 10 bottles, whatever, right? Everyone's different. But this channel is about sharing my journey and what I've discovered. I would tell you to try to get a partial. I would tell you to try to get a decant. I would tell you to try to smell it before you drop that kind of coin. I'll give you an example. I don't have the bottle with me. But I got a decant of Patou Pour Homme Privé, and I realized that actually I prefer Ma Liberté. I have a full bottle of Ma Liberté, which was marketed towards women. And for me, Ma Liberté was 90% Patou Pour Homme Privé, but better. I enjoyed it more. And so I decided I'm not going to go spend $800 on Patou Pour Homme Privé, right? Everyone has to make their own decisions. I spent a lot of money on this vintage Koros bottle because it's Charles of the Ritz. And I wanted an original Charles of the Ritz. I wanted to know what the original fragrance that Pierre Bourdon created was. Now, some people might get this and they might go, oh, the Parfums Corp version, the Sanofi, the Gucci Pour Homme, or the Gucci PPR era, whatever era you've smelled is good enough. You don't have to go drop the big money on Charles of the Ritz. Fine. That's everyone's own decision to make. But when I get on here and I say this version is more refined because of this, the real civet, look at this, look at the stain on the bottle from the civet. And so, you know, that kind of talk is what this channel is all about. This channel is about talking to you guys about my discoveries, giving you my opinions on them, good, bad, or indifferent. You know that I'm not a shill for the brands. Actually, I have a haul coming up outside of this one, another couple haul boxes coming. And in those boxes, I have some fragrances that are $14. I have a $14 fragrance coming, and I have a $1,000 fragrance coming, okay? So I go everywhere in the fragrance community. Everywhere in the fragrance world. I will go anywhere. I'm not a niche snob. I'm not a vintage head where I only have to wear vintage. I'm wearing a $500 Roja right now, and I'm not really enjoying it. It's good, but it's not $500 good. But I can stand on my own 2 feet and tell you that because I have the experience, because I've worn and done comparisons and this, that, or whatever. But, you know, for me, you have to be man enough or woman enough to stand on your own and decide, am I going to spend this money based on all the info I know? Some of this stuff you can't get a sample of. Go try to buy a sample of Patel Porom. What are you going to spend? $100 on a sample? And so, you know, sometimes you have to make decisions, whether you're going to blind buy, whether you're going to just skip it altogether. Like I skipped Patel Porom Privé because I have Ma Liberté. I'd love to have a bottle of Patel Porom Privé, but I prioritized that money elsewhere in the fragrance world, right? That's what it's all about. Do not get into debt with this hobby. It's not worth it, honestly. You can go buy Encre Noir for 20 bucks. FragranceBuy.ca has this for literally $20, and you will be smelling amazing. In fact, I would almost argue that I get more joy out of wearing Encre Noir than I do Roja's Vetiver. And so you don't have to spend a fortune to have a great collection, but once you really get into this hobby, okay, once you really get into it, and you've smelled the Amouages and the Rojas and the Bortnikovs and the Balenciaga Poroms and the, you know, on and on and on, vintage Bowling Green, Cologne, Ungaro, you smelled all that. You want the next thing. You want to explore. You can't explore everything. It's impossible to know everything. It's literally, there's way too many releases. There's thousands of releases a year. And nowadays, most of them are crap. They just are. That's why I went to vintage. Nothing fulfills me like something like this. I get more joy out of wearing the vintages than the modern niche. I enjoy the modern niche, but I'm not someone that's going to stand up here and say, you have to go spend $500 on Roja Dove. Because you don't. You can get the experience elsewhere. And that's what this channel is all about. My opinion on something, okay? That's all this is. What you do with that information is completely your, you know, that's your prerogative as to what you do with that information. You know, if you're dumb enough to go get into debt and spend thousands on fragrances, I can't help you. I mean, it is what it is, you know? It's like the people who were saying, oh, it's not fair, I can't find a bottle of Balenciaga Porom. You guys bought them all when they were $80. You could have bought Tesla stock at $100. You know, you didn't. Now it's $1,000. Whose fault is that? Is that my fault that you didn't buy it at 80? No. This is an open market capitalist system. And so sometimes you buy something and the price goes way up. And sometimes you miss out and you just have to skip that fragrance. I mean, that's just the way it is. I'm sorry. I wish everyone could own everything. I wish my first 1,000 subscribers could smell and own everything, because they are literally some of the best people that, you know, that's why I said fragrance family. People from the fragrance family sent me this, because it does feel like we're a little bit of a family. This is one of the most unique communities I've ever come across, ever. And I love it. When I, you know, before I got really pushed, and I have to thank Rich Mitch for pushing me to do these videos, because before I really did these, I went through my routine just like I go through them every single day. You know, not much has changed other than the fact that I'm doing these videos. I would still wear fragrances, break them down, mentally catalog them, compare them, I would do all that before I did videos, but it was for me. That was the joy I got out of it because I'm just a fragrance lover, right? And now I just turn on the camera and talk, but I'm getting more joy out of sharing the information with you guys than I thought I would. Most of the people that, have been interacting with me, I think they understand that. And I think they, are appreciative of the time and effort and the knowledge. Hopefully the knowledge helps because, like before I started, one of the things I told Rich Mitch was he had Calvin. If you go watch my video yesterday on woody fragrances, one of the ones that came up towards the end was the original Calvin from 1981. I said, there's 0 reviews on YouTube of that, Rich. Go do a review. You'll be the exclusive review of one of the best Calvin Klein fragrance ever. And 0 reviews, that's a huge hole to fill. People need that kind, and to have it done by someone so honest and who loves fragrances, who didn't get it sent to them by the brand, who paid their own money and can stand on their own 2 feet and say what they feel, good, bad, or indifferent. That's what I want out of a fragrance reviewer. I don't even consider myself a fragrance reviewer. I just want to have these conversations with you guys. I consider this more talking with the fragrance family. And, as more people find me, I understand that there's going to be people that have different opinions. In fact, I welcome those different opinions. My biggest critics, I'll never remove a comment unless you say something that is, hateful or whatever. As long as there's none of that, I'll leave it up. You can call me wrong. You can call me an idiot. You can call me a moron for spending my money this way. You can diss me. You can say whatever you want. And I'm a believer of free and open speech, and I would leave that on my channel. I would never remove a comment. And I'm much more towards the open free speech. Everyone should have the ability to say what they want category than I am, banning or blocking someone from saying something. Just like I'm more against open use of oak moss than I am some sort of regulatory agency limiting the amount of oak moss that can be in fragrances. I don't like people telling me. I don't like shadowy organizations deciding what's legal and what's not legal, banning Leerol and all this stuff, and that doesn't interest me. If I want to put something on my skin that has birch tar and it burns, that should be my issue. I shouldn't have to blame someone else. But nowadays, with the, suing culture, I understand that these companies have to protect themselves to some degree, but we won't go down that road. That's not why we're here. I just wanted to put that out there because I have heard some rumblings in the community, let's say, that Ramsey says, oh, you have to get the YSL Charles of the Ritz Koros. This is the one you have to get. Well, if you want my opinion, yes, this is the one to get. But I'm not going and twisting people's arm. I'm not putting a gun to their head and saying, buy the YSL Charles of the Ritz or else. No, I'm giving my opinion. It's nothing but an opinion. Someone else could come back and say, you know what, Ramsey, I got this, and I don't think there's much difference from the Parfum Corps. Fine. That's perfectly fine. That's what this channel is all about. Freedom of information, sharing of ideas. But these are my opinions. So take that with a grain of salt. I won't do another video like this. This will be a one-time thing, and then I'm putting it behind me. I hope you guys can appreciate where I'm coming from, because I am into the vintages. I'm into the different versions and different formulations, and tracking down one bottle in a certain year versus another. Like, for example, this is a bottle that's coming in my next haul. I have a vintage EDT of Chanel's Coco coming from the 80s, and we determined it was from the 80s because there wasn't that green dot on the packaging. So if you go to, there's a great site called Raiders of the Lost Scent. Raiders of the Lost Scent breaks down how to tell different versions of Koros and stuff like that, and the big ones, the big brands. I'm into that. That's my thing. That's what I love. Do I buy a Cosmere version of Polo Green, or do I just go get the modern stuff? Well, I'm the kind of guy that I will do testing. And I'll tell you, Cosmere is superior. Warner is superior, hands down. I mean, I don't even think it is a debate that it's superior. Now, whether you think it's worth it to go spend an extra $250 on the vintage versus the modern, that's a personal decision for you. You're in control of your own money. So I feel like I beat that dead horse enough on that front. Hopefully what I'm saying makes sense to everybody. If you disagree, do let me know. Let me know in the comments. But sorry, I didn't plan for this to be 25 minutes of me ranting, but you know how I get. I ramble. The ram rambles. All right, let's do this unboxing, shall we? Let's see what we got here. So this is from subscriber Rachel Ning. I believe it's Ning. If I'm mispronouncing your last name, I'm sorry, Rachel. I'm a Texan, so I get a pass. But she sent me some samples. Very kindly sent me some samples. Oops, I don't want to dox her on you. Let me flip this around so you can't see her address and stuff. Okay, so first we have, what is this? The Zoo Everlasting Fine Fragrances? I'm not familiar with this. I've never smelled anything from this brand. I've heard of the Zoo, but I've never smelled anything from them. So that's the first one. The second, oh, there's a bunch of stuff in here. Wow, Rachel, you're too kind. And this goes back to what I'm talking about. Fragrance family. Roussel L'Instant de Guerlain. And what else do we have here? This is like Christmas. Wow. And she paid the money to ship these to me. You guys are too much. A Riche Ladore Atlantic Ambergris 2. Wow. What a pleasure this is going to be to smell. I might make this my scent of the day tomorrow. So we don't have a final Riche Ladore because I only had one Riche Ladore left in my sample that Russian Adam sent to me, Oud Zen. So now I've got one more. The penultimate fragrance to the last one. We have an extra one now. Thank you, Rachel. Seriously, honestly, from the bottom of my heart, it means a lot. I mean, like I said, you don't come across people like this in everyday life anymore. It's very rare. 24 Faulberg by Hermes. I never smelled this before. So I'm a little late to the party on some of these. You know what I mean? This is long, long overdue. Long overdue for me. Big thank you. Big shout out to you, Rachel. You guys are amazing. Roussel 24 Faulberg. So we're going to do a comparison with the vintage. That's exactly my thing. This is exactly what I'm talking about. We've got the modern stuff versus the original Roussel version. And then we've got Roussel 24 Faulberg Hermes. Okay, so I got two of these. Very nice, Rachel. Beautiful stuff. I'm very excited to try all this. Truly a blessing. You are way too kind. Honestly, that is more than I could have asked for. You probably could have charged me $100 for all this, but again, thank you. It means a lot. And then we have a fragrance that I purchased. So we're gonna have some unboxings coming up because I've been on a little bit of a spree, on a splurge, if you will, as I am known to do, because I'm a collector. That's what I enjoy. If you're not a collector, you may find it a little strange to spend the extra couple $100 on the vintage. But if you're a collector and you speak my language, it will make sense. I hope it makes sense. I'll say this, I don't know if I've ever told you guys this, but I got an invite to go on on one of the larger channels' streams, and I turned it down. I didn't want to do that because I didn't want to be associated with some of that stuff. I wanted the people who found me to organically find me because this was the information that they're looking for. You know what I mean? I didn't want to double my subscribers, but half of the people who joined aren't into the kind of stuff that I'm into. If you found my channel, that means you found it because you were actively looking for something that, you know, you're not going to find every day. You're not going to find comparison videos of Bijan Man vintage versus the original formula, that kind of stuff, right? So I wanted people to organically find me. And so there you go. Now this is actually, is this what I think it is? Now I'm a little concerned. What is this? I hope this is what I think it is. I need to get some scissors in here. Or where's my unboxing knife? I'm not prepared. Oh yeah, it is what I think it is. Okay, here we go. You guys ready for this? Okay, here she comes. Dun dun na 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 na. Vintage Hermes Amazon. Now, you can tell it's a vintage by the packaging, number one. But number two, you see that 90 degree right there. They stopped using that 90 degree decades ago. This is a fragrance targeted towards women. Oh, wow. Okay. So this is good stuff. So this is exactly the kind of stuff that I'm talking about. I get to show you the vintage bottle. If you just go to YouTube or eBay and type in Hermes Amazon, you will see the modern bottle, you'll see the vintage bottle, you'll be able to compare and contrast, and you will be able to make the decision for yourself, whether it's worth it to pony up for the vintage or whether you just want to buy the modern stuff. This came about because Eugene was talking about it on one of his streams, that it's one of the older Hermes fragrances that kind of get lost in the shuffle. And, you know, that it's required sniffing kind of thing. And so, as you can see, I got a little 30 ml. I got a partial. I got a great deal on this, almost a steal. They almost gave it away. And they included something else, which I don't know. What is this? She gave me a tank top. A Hot Kiss tank top. Very strange. I've never been given a Hot Kiss tank top before. What do you think? Should I wear it? Ooh, I got a card too. Thanks for the purchase. Enjoy. Maya. Wow. Okay. Good stuff, Maya. What's this? A do-rag? What do you guys think, huh? Alright, anyways, enough fooling around. I think the video hit the main points that I wanted to hit. I won't go back to this topic again. I'm just going to stay in my lane, and I'm going to continue to do the things that I like to do, which is talk about all kind of fragrances. I have a comparison video coming up between vintage Sung Homme and modern Sung Homme, Riviera Concepts versus the Elizabeth Arden, EA. I have a comparison video coming up between Songe d'un Bois de Et, which is discontinued, and Bois Mysterio, which is what they rebranded Songe d'un Bois de Et in. They rebranded it as Bois Mysterio, and then they discontinued Bois Mysterio. Now, I will tell you that I'll just give you a quick tip. I'm going to do a full comparison. It's going to be kind of like a review as well. But I think this is perfectly fine. This is the newer version. There's no reason to go spend big money on this. I'm going to tell you that in my review. I still want you to watch my review. But I'm going to tell you, I've worn both of these to bed now. I've had the time. And there's nothing wrong with this. These are very, very close, almost identical. I'll talk about some differences, if I can find really differences that are worth talking about. But don't go spend big money on songs. That's the kind of stuff that I'm going to tell you. So to be offended or upset that I'm forcing people to buy vintage is a little nuts to me, but whatever. Like I said, I'm not going to broach the topic again. I'm going to continue to do my perfumers portfolio video where we highlight the men and women behind the perfumes. I'm going to continue to do my This Year in Perfume. And I'm going to continue to do my Ramsey's ramblings on discontinued fragrances. I hope you guys get some enjoyment, some knowledge. I love seeing the participation in the comments. I'm going to do my top 100 countdown. Once we get to 1,000 subscribers, it's all ready to go. I'm not even looking at it anymore because it's driving me insane to look at it. But so there's a lot of good content coming. I'm just going to continue to do what I love to do. I love hunting down different versions. That's my thing. I spend hours learning about it. And sometimes you have to be patient. I'll give you an example. I've been looking for it. There's a discontinued Le Male called Essence de Parfum, L'Essence de Parfum. And usually they want big money for it because it's discontinued. I found it for $60 the other day. It's coming in one of my hauls, right? Patience sometimes is a virtue with this game as well. If you just go spend the big money on the first ticket item you see, you're not playing the game right. You know, so that's the kind of stuff that when you're a vintage hunter, it is truly a journey. You know, some people say, "Oh, I hate that word," but it is. It's a journey. You make fragrance buys that you wish you didn't make, and I still wear it and enjoy it. But this $500 could have been allocated somewhere else, right? So it's all where you allocate your money, what fragrances you buy, learning that sometimes you don't always need full bottles. Sometimes decants are perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with the 10 ml decant. And, you know, you have to use your own nose and make your own mind up. But for me, would I take vintage Lancaster from Davidoff, or would I take modern Lancaster? I want the vintage. That's my opinion. The modern stuff is good, but I want the vintage. That's my thing. Maybe that's not your thing, but if you're a subscriber to my channel, I will give you my honest opinion on that. And you have to then go make your own mind up. So the horse is dead. I beat the horse into the ground. I hope you guys understand what I'm saying. Rachel, thank you again for your consideration. Honestly, too kind. You guys are too amazing. I have the best 1,000 subscribers that someone could ask for. And your comments and contribution and, there's so many knowledgeable people subscribed to my channel that it's almost like a little fragrance mecca where people can share ideas, and whether those ideas agree with what I say or disagree with what I say, it is completely, my channel and the comments are completely open to share your thoughts. And if you go back through the comments, you'll see some people who agree with what I say, you'll see some people who disagree with what I say, but I really hope that there is some value in this, some knowledge in this. If you're new, you might not even know what the original version, the older distributor of the Davidoff fragrances were. You might not know it's Lancaster, right? So that's the kind of knowledge that I want to share. And then ultimately you have to make your own mind up. So thank you for watching the unboxing. Sorry for rambling as long as I did. And tomorrow we'll be back with a normal video. A normal either early impression or countdown, or we're getting back to the script. But we are getting close to 1,000 subs. So please, if you could, a subscription helps because it gets us to that 1,000, mostly for my sanity, because I want to knock out that top 100. I want to be done with it. I'm excited to do it. I think you guys are really going to love that. So thanks for watching. Cheers, everybody. Have a great day. See you again tomorrow. Bye-bye.